Mental models are thinking structures that we use to function in the world. These are the 9 that I have come across that are most helpful in learning something new. The first one is the congruence of practice and skill. One of the biggest mistakes people make with learning is to practice something completely different from what they're actually trying to improve at. This way, they obviously don't notice any improvement and they don't even know what they're doing wrong. Let's say you're trying to learn to play guitar. You need to know many songs that you can play by memory without needing to revise them. As a sub goal to that though, you need to know notes, chords, and many technical stuff. Now, if you begin reading a textbook on guitars, you're going to be learning about the technical stuff, but you're not going to be learning actual guitar. If there is a huge difference between what you're practicing and what you're trying to improve at, you're not actually improving. Even if you are looking at the notes while playing a song, you're improving not at playing them from memory, but at playing them by looking at the notes side by side. The second mental model is to use system solutions. The problem of learning is an abstract problem. Everyone, everywhere, forgets what they want to learn, what they want to remember, even though they try to learn it. So to deal with this abstract problem, you need an abstract solution. And that solution is systems. People have created all sorts of systems in order to learn and to remember what you learn. You can use those. You can use spaced repetition. You can build a second brain. You can integrate a story into what you're trying to learn so that it is more memorable. Systems and habits can help you because they alleviate the need to think through what you want to do. You can think through it beforehand and decide it beforehand. The third one is meta learning. Meta learning is the skill of learning how to learn. This is where you recognize that actual learning is not compartmentalized. Biology, physics, philosophy, these are not separate categories. All learning is one big network, and the more that you connect that network, the more solidly ingrained, concretely grained your knowledge will be, the better you will remember what you learn. Actual learning is holistic and integrative. The more connected something is, the better you will remember it, the better you will learn it. Things that are practical and well connected to the rest of your knowledge base are a lot easier to remember. This is where knowing things like chess is very, very helpful because you can make analogies, metaphors, and this way you can remember things way better because of it. The more conceptual hardship you put yourself through when you're trying to learn, the better your understanding will be. If the concept is in words, then draw a diagram, draw a mind map. If the concept is a diagram, then try to explain it in words. If you can transform it from one mode of communication to the next, then you understand it way better instantly. The fourth mental model is thinking back in time. This is similar to inversion. Right now you're looking ahead, you're thinking about how you can learn guitar, for example. But this mental model states that you should look back in time. Imagine that you met a guy who mastered guitar in 30 days with only 1 hour of practice a day without knowing any of it before. Now, what sort of traits would that guy need to have? What would he need to do? In other words, what do you need to do to be the guy who masters guitar with very little effort in very little time? Imagine that you have already achieved what you are aiming at and then look back from there, and then you can see what you need to do. The next one is to apply unusual learning systems. The best systems when it comes to learning are the toughest ones, the most unusual ones. Let's say you're trying to learn French. What I would do if I was trying to do that was to only speak in French with everyone for a few weeks. If I had a teacher, I would try something even more interesting. The challenge is that both of us can only speak French, but I can have her translate things for me by pointing at stuff, by doing stuff, and then having her translate it for me so that I can learn French side by side as well. The point is to figure out French by yourself, just like you would have if you were born in a French-speaking family. You can apply this anywhere. The author of a book I was reading on this was learning to draw faces from real life. He would draw a face of a person and then Photoshop a picture of it right on top so that he could see what he did wrong and then compare it and get a faster feedback loop going. This way, his unusual system gave him immediate feedback about what he did wrong. The next one is to typologize in concepts, facts, and procedures. Basically, every subject that you ever come across can be divided into one of 3 categories: concepts, facts, and procedures. Subjects that are concept dominant need a lot of understanding, something like theoretical physics, for example. This is where you need to do self-explanation. Explain to yourself what you understand about the concept. Or you can do elaborative interrogation. Ask yourself why about whatever you're trying to learn again and again, and this way your understanding will become stronger and stronger. Fact-dominant subjects are the ones where you need to retain a lot of information. This is best done by spaced repetition. You can also understand what is going on behind those facts so that you can better remember them as well. Procedure-dominant subjects are things like guitar or surgery. These are best done only through practice. You cannot improve at them in any other way. The next one is reasoning from first principles. This is where you want to reject the premises. You want to question down to the statements that you cannot break down any further. So what are the first principles of learning? You want to learn things and remember them for as long as possible. Learning is a complex task, and yet you will remember the most practical things for the longest time. You do not forget how to drive, but you forget the formula for a plus b whole square somehow. So some information is subject to decay over time, while some isn't. From what I can see, knowledge that you reuse, knowledge that is practical in your life, is the one that you remember best. If you learn something and don't use it, you lose it. Rote learning will decay over time. You want to build concepts that you can build your knowledge on top of. You can also arrive at the first principles of your own subject. Look at the tried and tested practices and question them. Question the pros and cons of different choices, different options. Ask yourself that if you had to explain your subject to a complete beginner, what would the 5 unquestionable statements be, the 5 first principles be that you could explain it through? The next one is project-based learning. If you adopt overarching goals that help you learn what you want to learn, then you will be more motivated. You will have more to gain from learning whatever it is you want to learn. If you're choosing to learn guitar, maybe you set a goal to play a specific song on someone's birthday coming soon. We are goal-based beings, so if something helps us further a goal, we will remember it better, it will be more useful, and we will be more motivated to keep doing it. You can also fast-track your learning by making your feedback loop shorter. Learning is really just a process of experimentation, feedback, and then adaptation. You adapt and then you learn. If you don't risk failure, then you cannot learn. Remember, fearing failure is the biggest failure of them all. The last one is inversion. Many of the problems we face have to do with what we want to achieve, how to be successful, how to be happy. This model states that you should invert your problem so that you can get a clear answer. So instead of asking how to be happy, you will ask, what could I do that would unquestionably lead to me not being happy? So ask yourself, what is something that you could do that would guarantee that you are not going to be very good at learning, whatever you're trying to learn. Something like pulling all-nighters, not having a consistent sleep schedule, or whatever, it's up to you to decide. Once you stop making negative progress to your goals by removing bad habits, you can begin actually making positive progress. And you can do that by clicking this video right here. Thank you and